Hi, I've brought in an orange image here just so I could show you guys how to use the eyedropper tool. It's not that difficult. You just need to select the eyedropper tool and then you select on whatever spot you wish to include. Okay, and then in order to be able to use swatches, I'm going to pull open the swatches now. Just want to show you how easy it is. Now, the default system, if you have an Illustrator file, is just you have some basic defaults here. You're not stuck with those. You can always open more with the Swatch Library and find a whole bunch of different colors that you might be interested in utilizing. And actually, you can pull one of these full sets right onto your swatch area. Either that, or you can make your own new folder and call it whatever you want, and then drag individual colors from there, either from this area, from above here, and or you can create your own. So for example, if I use the eyedropper tool and select, I now have this color up here, and I know now that I can actually just drag it right into the folder. Sometimes it's a little stubborn, just be careful. I didn't drag it onto there, so it's a little stubborn. Now I'll just go ahead and drag it down here. I'll choose a different color, try it again, like drag it right onto the folder. Come on. Gotta get that plus key and then it knows, and then you can drag it in there. So it's a really nice way to set up color palettes. You can get multiples up for a project, or just have one. You can delete whatever you want. If you know you're not going to use this, you can just hit delete for that file. And any of the other ones that you don't want, you simply can touch them and hit delete. It's a pretty easy way to get some really good specifics. So I would take some time, if I were you, to go look at the Open Swatch Library just so you have an idea. There are some other unusual ones. There are some decorative ones, like dots, for example, and you can pull these also into your system. I don't use these very often. I prefer to make my own patterns, but you can kind of see the gist of how they work. And I think what else I can do here. I think that's honestly probably about it. I always prefer to see these as swatches rather than a list view. That's like thumbnail views make more sense to me, but it's totally up to you how you like to view those. Now intermixed with the swatches, you can also do the gradient tool, because you actually make these as swatches as well. So for that to happen, you can double click on this bar. There is like a basic default one, which is here and here, but you can go and choose whether you want it linear or radial. Close this out. And then this is very similar to Photoshop. You can also do a directional thing, where on this bar down here, if you want a different color, you just double click on it, switch it to a different color, and now you've got a new range here. If you want the color to be not a color but to be transparent, then the opacity has to be at 0. On the other hand, if you want it to be like kind of there, you just need to whatever area you want transparent, you need to reduce to 0, and then that will give you whatever you need. So remember, you can add as many as you like, and pretty soon you have a pretty complex one. And then once it's here, you can see it's already up here. You just have to say new swatch, and you can probably name it whatever you want there. And now you've got it to be able to be used, and it's a fun way to work around. You can also do multiples, like let's say that you want to include one that has a little bit more orange or something. Again, you just say new swatch, and it adds a new one. So you can see you can either do it here or you can do it up there. There's 2 spots. And that way now, if you select any kind of shape, this is not going to work right, but you just see the idea. It'll be filled with a transparent, at this point, transparent one instead of a flat color. It'll be filled with a gradient. So these are all accessible. Once you manage your swatches here, these are now accessible up here as well with a shortcut. Sometimes this is faster. So gradients are fun, and just be careful how you use them. Sometimes they can be a little bit overbearing, but overall they're kind of a fun aspect. You can also be very, very quiet in how you use them. It could be that you set this one to be a really low opacity. We messed around in a similar way in Photoshop, just to get something there, but to be really subtle is very appropriate. I feel like that covers a lot of the stuff with color. This here, you can kind of see you can flip-flop back and forth between what is your color and then what is your, you can flip-flop them back. So that actually, you can have a gradient as a stroke as well, which gets a little bit complicated, but sometimes it works, depends on how thick your stroke is. And I'll leave the color swatch stuff at that.